Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Kesubos Chavav, number 26. I want to talk about the Mishnah on Chavav and Bez. The Mishnah says that Isha of the Chavim. She was taken captive, not taken captive. She was put in jail by non-Jews. If she committed a financial offense, or they're holding her for money, she didn't pay a loan off or something like that, or her family didn't pay a loan, and they're taking her as collateral. We'll see the Gemara says the same thing. She's muteras labayla. We assume she's muteras labayla because we're going to see the Gemara says we're talking about the state of Israel, presumably, where the Jews are stronger than the non-Jews, or they own the country, Jewish people. So when Jewish people own the country, so therefore, even though she was taken to a non-Jewish court, they know if they violate her, the husband's not going to want to pay off the chol because he's not going to be muteras to his wife anymore. It sounds like so. Therefore, we're talking about in a Jewish. Therefore, we assume she wasn't violated, even she wasn't even raped, right? And therefore, even if her husband's a kohen, she muteras to him if they pay off the financial debt. If she was judged for a capital offense, she did something terrible. She killed an Arab or something like that, and the Arab court took her, and they're holding her, and they want to kill her. So even if somehow she gets freed, she's asura l'bayla. We assume she was not only raped, but also she did it willingly, according to Rashi and Tosos. And therefore, she should be asur even to her husband of Yisrael. So Rashi says the reason is that she's asur to her husband of Yisrael is because they're noag minag hefker. Jails are noag minag hefker. Especially they're going to kill her, so they'll rape her before they'll kill her. We'll assume that. And once there's hefker going on, it's just anyone can do a helter skelter and can do whatever they want. She'll also be nisratza. She'll maybe enjoy it. She'll want to be part of it. So this is a little different shot that she knows she's going to get killed, so therefore she's going to try to make a deal. I'll sleep with you on purpose, but you have to free me. Maybe she did that, so therefore she's ushered to her husband Yisrael. Other Rishonim say that the Mishnah is only talking about Yisrael L'Bayla to her husband's a Kohen, because the Gemara, we bring a riot from the Gemara on Daf Nun Aleph in this Masechta, on Daf 51b, where the Gemara says that she's captured by invaders or bandits. We assume she's only violated, she's only raped. We don't assume that she was nisratza, that she did it on purpose, that she had enjoyment in it, and therefore she's only usher to Baila Kohen. Baila Yisrael, she's not usher. So they say this Mishnah is only talking about, who says the Ritva says this, the Ramban says this, Asur LaBaila, only to Baila who's the Kohen. Now, from the stimus of the Mishnah, from the general wording of the Mishnah, Asur LaBaila sounds like even if Baila Yisrael, that's more mistaber. They just have a problem with the distinction between being in prison and being taken captive, a captive, shvuyo. We're talking about a war or bandits that take a woman captive. What's the difference? So I want to provide a difference, and a little different than Rashi and Tosos. The idea is that when you're taken as a shvuya, as a captive, so you don't know that they're going to kill you over there, right? You're taken as a captive, they'll probably want to ransom you. Usually when you're taken as spoils or you're taken captive, they want to ransom you for money. So therefore, they might violate you, but the woman herself knows she's probably not going to die. Someone will probably ransom her. She's not miyaye. She doesn't give up hope. However, when you put her in jail and she's judged for a capital offense, she's found guilty, and they're going to stone her, or they're going to shoot her, or they're going to get a lethal injection, and she's convicted of a capital offense, and she knows she's going to die. So I just think women would be miyayish, even the fromest woman. I don't think men are like this. I think men will fight to the end. You hear so many stories about, the Holocaust, about people who would refrain from eating even pork or eating on Yom Kippur, even though they were so skinny they were about to die if they didn't eat. But they gave them horse meat or they gave them food on Yom Kippur. They would fast on Yom Kippur, even in the death camps, where they would said, if you eat this pork, if you don't eat this pork, I'm going to kill you. They would give up their life. They would moser and nefesh al kiddush Hashem. Now, whether the halacha follows what they did or not is a discussion. I mean, the Gemara really says that halacha really is b'shas shmad, even on not only the Gemara Chamuras, right? When it's a time of shmad, whatever shmad means, then you're supposed to give up your life even for not Gemara Chamuras, and pork is an isser in the Torah. This is the famous story about by Wallace. You heard of Yossi Wallace. He's the head of Arachim here in Israel. He was a Baal Tshuva. He actually was standing in a line at a restaurant in Tel Aviv, and it was a really long line, and he was waiting to get some pork, some pig sandwich or whatever to bring to his family. And while he was waiting and smelling the pork, he had this thought that wafted through his mind. I like the imagery, that he remembered that the story of his grandfather was in the Holocaust, and right before they were about to free the Jews, they gathered all the Jews together, and they had the big rabbi who was his grandfather in the camp. And the Germans like to have fun, so they brought the rabbi in the middle of the circle, and they said to him, "You eat this pork, or you're going to be killed. If you don't eat the pork, you're going to be killed. I'm going to shoot you." And in front of everybody, he said, "We will." I don't know what he said exactly. I'm just making this up. But he said something like, "You will never win. We'll always defeat you. I will never eat this pork." And he shot him, and he killed him. And Yossi Wallace said to himself, "If my grandfather was willing to give up his life, right, about eating pork, no one's threatening me, and I'm eating pork over here." And that was the basis of him doing tshuva, and he became a Baal tshuva. He came very close to Rav Shach, to Rav Greineman, and he set up this thing called Arachim, which is a seminar here in Israel where a lot of Baal tshuva go and learn about Judaism, and the free classes and free weekends, and a lot of people become Baal tshuva based on these seminars. Real people speak to them. This is what motivated the motivator of everybody else. This story about the pork. So I think by men, I don't hear too many of those stories about women in the Holocaust. It's mostly about men. Men will go to the very end. They'll never be miyayish. It doesn't matter. But women are nashim daitan kalos, and they're easier for them to enjoy this world. They don't think about halacha so much. Stay tuned for The Real Me, which is a hashkafa shir I give based on a book called The Real Me. We're going to talk today about halachic fastidiousness, about how severely you should treat halacha, and is keeping halacha, bordering on OCD sometimes. But men will make themselves crazy over halacha. Women don't have this problem really over halacha so much, not as much as men. Nashim daitan kalos, they're thinking more about emotional things, about enjoying this world. It's easier for them to enjoy this world. That's why they're closer to Hashem. So when it comes to women who are judged for a capital offense and they've been condemned to die, I think they're just going to be miyayish. They'll say, all right, who cares about religion anymore? Who cares about these things? And they'll just say, all right, let's enjoy ourselves, and that's why they were concerned that they'll do it baratzon, not because they want to save themselves, making a deal with them like Tosfos, or not because it's minhag hefker. Maybe that's what Rashi means. They're not about minhag hefker. It's already a hefkerus over there. Everyone's doing whatever they want, so the woman also will join in on the fun, and she'll win this ratza. Maybe that's what Rashi's saying. It could be that's what Rashi's saying. Maybe that is what Rashi's saying. It doesn't say. I would have said it if it was Rashi said. They would have said the more proper word is they're going to be miyayish. They're going to give up hope, and they're not going to keep religion anymore, and they'll do this ratza to a guy. A lot of times they'll do this when a person is really threatened in a life-threatening situation. Halacha becomes not so important anymore. I think this is true. You lose the importance of halacha. You just think about surviving. So I think for sure women are like that. I'm not being feminist. I'm not being feminist. Definitely not. I'm anti-feminist, misogynist. I'm not being that. This is what I think the difference between men and women are. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's shir. See you in Mishnah Yomi coming up next.